Hi, and welcome to another installment of my Valentine's Day series. This one is special because I'm going to be doing a collaboration with my friend Julie from Acrylic Painting with Julie E. I will link her video up in the iCard and her channel down in the comments and in the description. So I'm going to be doing resin on two of these little wooden hearts that I purchased from Michael's. They're about 9 inches across and down. I'm going to be using Mica pigments in my resin, and the brands that I'm using are Just Paint from Petra Youngblood. Her Just Paint line, I'm going to be using Truly Red, Golden Beach mixed with Sparkle Miners Gold. So they're two different golds. One is a finer mica and one is a larger mica. And I will also be using Color Passion's Onyx Pearl, which is a black, which has a bit of a charcoal hue to it. And then also Finnebair mica that I purchased from Michael's. It's a pearl color. The resin that I'll be using is Krystal Resin. It's a 1-to-1 epoxy, very easy to use. Mix 1-to-1, stir for about 5 minutes, and you're good to go. I've had really good luck using this resin. So I'm going to be doing, I guess, what they call a resin painting. I'm going to be using my torch and my heat gun to help warm up the resin, and the heat gun to help kind of help soften the resin and help move it around to blend the colors together. So on this initial pour, I'm going to be doing the red and the black, or pardon me, the Truly Red and the Onyx Pearl on the black based heart, and the gold mix and the pearl on the white based heart. I am going to be doing several layers of resin on these hearts, and as we go along here you'll see some of the successes and some of the struggles that I've had doing this piece. So I probably mixed up about 6 ounces of resin. I did not put down a clear resin first. I just mixed up my micas and poured them directly onto the painted hearts. I only used paint, acrylic paint, to prime the hearts, but I probably did 2 or 3 coats. These hearts aren't the greatest quality. I think they're pine wood. They do have a little bit of texture, a little bit of wood grain on them, but I wasn't really too concerned about it. I figured I'm probably going to be putting up enough resin on top of them that you won't see the grain, and if you do, it's fine. I don't mind having a little bit of grain texture on their effect, by the time I get all the resin and everything on top of it. So I just use my hands to blend the resin micas together, and the heat gun and the torch to soften the resin and move it around a little bit. So this is what it looks like after the first pour. The red and the onyx are gorgeous, and the pearl and the gold look really pretty. So the next day I go in and I have a clear coat of resin down. Now I'm going to switch the color palettes around and put the black, the Onyx Pearl, I guess it's the black, but Onyx Pearl and the Truly Red on the Pearl and Gold, and put the Pearl and Gold on the Onyx and the Truly Red. So my thought here was to make them the same yet different, and going back in again with my finger just to help kind of blend things together. So the biggest struggle with these two pieces was the lighter one, the lighter based one. I'm really happy with the way the dark based one is looking. As you can tell as this goes along, I hardly do anything to it. I put the micas down, the resin down, and you know, I'm not really worried about how it's looking. But the lighter based one is, I don't like, I do not like the way this is looking at all. So as I continue on here, I harass it and try to bully it into submission, and it's not cooperating with me. And really, this is my own lack of experience with resin. I have only been doing resin for several months. This is probably, other than a couple of geodes that I've done, this is, you know, I could probably count on one hand how many times I've actually done this type of technique with resin and mica. I do a lot of coasters and stuff that's in molds. And I guess I do some MDF pieces and whatnot, but I don't know, I just had a vision in my mind, and this is not cooperating with me. So I just keep going over it with the different colored resin. And the biggest problem that I'm having with the lighter colored one was that the black and the red both seem to lose the intensity of their color. And I don't know if that was because of the clear resin that I used. But I've went over it a few times with more resin, and then I went back in again with some of the pearl, and it's just not blending very nicely. And I'm my little fingers kind of twitch there. I'm trying to decide how I can, trying to figure out how I can fix this. And you know, pretty soon here I've decide that there isn't anything that I can do. I know that I've long since overworked this piece and most likely layered my colors incorrectly. I'm wishing that I had done the dark base on both of them and done them both the same, because I'm afraid at this point that I'm going to have one that's really pretty and one that's just a hot mess. But the good thing about resin is that it is pretty forgiving, and you can keep adding layers. It's never over until you say it's over. You can let it cure, you can go back, you can add more resin, you can add more micas to it, you can just keep layering on top of it and layering on top of it. It's not like acrylic paint where you put it down and you move it around and you either live with it or you scrape it. You can make adjustments, as you know, there's just so many options at this point. But I am going to decide to leave it here. I've pretty much decided in my mind that I've completely botched this by now, but I can't help myself. I keep trying to fix it and keep picking on it. The colors are beautiful, but there's areas in it that just aren't blending very well, and it's looking a little messy. I keep looking at it from every angle, trying to decide if it's going to be okay. So the black and red one look great. The lighter colored one does not look great, especially in this one area. It just looks bruised and muddy, and I don't like it. So after some thought, I decided I am going to cover that up with some of my little crazy flakes here. Now, these are gold leafing flakes. I call them crazy flakes because they fly everywhere. They're just, they're hysterical to work with because they stick to everything, they flutter everywhere. They're just these delicate little pieces of gold flake, and I love working with them, but they're just a riot. So I decide I'm going to randomly put down some of these flakes. I'm using Tack It over and over. It was the closest adhesive that I had on hand at this point. I was sitting there thinking, what can I do to fix this? And I decided, yep, I'm going to do gold flakes, and I jumped up and ran to my resin room and without much thought just grabbed the closest adhesive and started putting these flakes down. Doesn't matter, it works fine. I read the label, it dries clear, and I'm not worried about what it's going to do when I put the resin over top of it. It'll be just fine. So I just mess around with these gold flakes. So make sure that you go over and check out Julie's video. She will be doing her part of the collaboration with acrylic paints. So we decided to use this color palette, black, red, gold, and white. And I believe she's also going to be doing hers on hearts as well, but with acrylics. So with the gold leaf, you can go back with a stiff brush. I just have a paintbrush, and just brush away any extra flakes that are not adhered to your area, and they will just brush right off. Probably not the best idea to be doing this in my resin room because these little gold flakes, they're probably worse than glitter because they will float in the air as well, and they stay suspended in the air a lot longer than glitter does, but that's okay. So I'm just going to brush off all the extra, and then I'm going to go back in with a clear coat, and I will show you the final results. So here they are with a clear coat. I am in love with these. I think the 3 layers of resin, the gold leafing that was added, even the lighter colored one where I covered up that spot that had, the muddy discoloration. I love it. I think it turned out great. I love how the gold leaf looks distressed in most of the areas, and I don't even mind that some of them went a little bit rogue and ended up kind of scattered throughout the piece. I really hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you wouldn't mind hitting the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe to my channel. I do acrylic as well, and go check out Julie. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Bye.